French coast before the German guns opened up on D-Day? One man who lives in Toronto knows the answer.
If I put this over here and extract a sync pulse...
Jack Nissen is 69. He's had a lifelong flair for electronics and spent a lifetime using it. Now in business in Toronto. 46 years ago, in the Second World War. The bloody beaches of Dieppe, August 19th, 1942. Canadian soldiers were slaughtered there. Jack Nissen owes his life to some of them, and he's repaid that debt thousands of times over. For Jack, the war really started in 1937 here at Bodsey Manor in the south of England. He was recruited by the Air Ministry for a secret project in which a group of RAF scientists began to develop electronic detection of airplanes, which we know today as radar. At the manor and in this nearby pub, they began building an air defense radar network. Even the British government didn't know what they were doing.
The biggest security risk was the politicians, and in fact, at that time, the Prime Minister. They never told him. It was secret, yes, very, very secret, and this secrecy was insisted on by Sir Robert Watson-Watt, by the whole group, Henry Tizard. The secrecy became the most important bit of our operations, because it was that very secrecy that saved us during the Battle of Britain.
In August 1940, waves of Luftwaffe bombers tried to demolish London and open the ways for an invasion. But a radar defense network along the coast and in the RAF planes helped beat them off. By 1942, the British knew the Germans had radar because they could hear radio plotting of British planes. Victor Tate, a Winnipeg Canadian who ran the radar war, decided they had to find out which radar the Germans were using for precision tracking. He sent Jack Nissen on a secret mission with the raid on Dieppe. He was to examine a radar station in the midst of that bloody battle. He had a bodyguard of 10 soldiers from the South Saskatchewan Regiment. He says they had orders to protect him, but if he was in danger of being captured, they were to shoot him.
The boys were detailed never to let me fall into enemy hands, but then on the Isle of Wight, where we were doing the training, we went through all those motions. I had to tell them what it was all about. They had no idea really what it was all about. They were just soldiers doing a job.
Jack's assignment was to observe the radar station, but he had to go through unbelievable gunfire to see it.
All I wanted to see was a very simple thing, and Murray Austin got me there. We sat in the hedgerow, sort of with two big machine gun things clobbering us every time we put our head up too high. But it didn't matter. I could see the aerial, and the aerial, instead of just sweeping like a CHO, which our radar did, just sweeping like this, it was now DFing individual flights of tracks of aircraft, following aircraft as a precision radar would, as a dish would do now.
Half his bodyguards were killed trying to get up that hill and then make their way back to the beach and into the landing craft. Back home in England, the knowledge gained at the German radar station enabled Jack Nissen to make a jamming device that eventually became known under the code name Mandrill.
I helped make the first unit, and in a small biscuit tin, if you don't mind, and a one-tube white noise jammer, which was flight tested and was a huge success. Once we found it was successful, we put it under the wraps, and then we decided not to use it until the big day. The big day was hopefully one day, if we survived that far, we were going to go back to Europe and liberate France. And on the night of D-Day, Victor Tate had prepared 200 ships, each fitted out with 2 to 3 kilowatts of Mandrill jamming, which had never been used. So 200 ships with multi-kilowatt Mandrill got us right close inshore without a shot being fired.
When the war was over, Jack Nissen went into the hi-fi business in South Africa. 20 years later, he retired and came to Canada, where he used his electronic knowledge and imagination once again. His plant in Toronto designs and builds science exhibits for exhibitions, museums, and science fairs all over the world. He's also fulfilling a promise he made in 1942 when one of the soldiers discovered that he had something to do with radio.
One of the other boys said, well, if you're a radio man, we'll do all what you want us to do, but when the war is over, you've got to come to Canada and give us work. Well, that's more or less what I've done.
For all the details of that story, you can read it in Jack Nissen's book called Winning the Radar.